We are now ready for the bind off. This is lesson number 7, and this is finishing up our project. So let's look at what we have. We have our garter stitch, our stockinette, our yarn over, the seed stitch. Here we've completed our cables, as you can see right here. And then we have done the reverse. We've had our yarn overs, our stockinette, and our garter stitch. So now we are ready for our cast off. Now, when you do your bind off, you want to make sure that you keep your stitches loose, otherwise it's going to be kind of puckered. You are going to be on your wrong side of the work. So here's my wrong side. And you are going to knit 2 stitches. Again, keep them loose. You're not going to make these snug. They're going to be loose stitches. So we do 1, and then we do 2, and then you use your left needle and you pick up the first stitch that you knitted and you bring it over the top of the second stitch. Then you knit 1 more stitch and you use your left needle again, pick up this first stitch, bring it over the second. Again, knit a stitch, and again keep this loose. Knit a stitch, pick up this first stitch, pass it over the second stitch. And as you can see, you're beginning right here to bind off your work. So let's do a couple of more, and then we'll finish out all the way across. Knit 1 stitch, pick it up, and pass it over. Knit 1 stitch, pick it up, pass it over. Knit 1 stitch, pick it up, and pass it over. And you're going to do this all the way across, and then we will do the final seaming and our project will be complete. All right, we are finished. We are down to our last stitch on our needle, as you can see right here. At this point, you can remove the needle, and you're going to leave this loop here for a minute. You're going to take the remainder of your yarn, and you're going to measure out probably about 1.5 feet, and cut it. And this is where using the darning needle comes in handy. So you're going to thread your needle. Okay, now that it's threaded, you're going to take this loop. I give it a couple of twists and then slide your needle right into the loop, pull your yarn through, and pull it tight. This is going to secure your stitches from coming undone. You're now going to lay your work out in front of you, right side up. So your right side is going to be facing you. Then you're going to fold it in half. So now the wrong side is facing out. And here's your short seam that runs across. Here's the loop that you've got right here. You're going to place your sides together. You can use clothespins and hold it in place as you go if you want to, or some kind of clip. You can even use paper clips if you wanted and hold this in place. But you're basically going to do like a whip stitch to secure it all the way across. I thought I would show a few pictures of my doing the actual sewing across. You're just simply going to loop it or go in from the front, pick up a couple of stitches on each side, just pick up 1 stitch on each side, and then pull it to the back, bring your yarn back to the front, move down maybe 2 stitches, Go from the front to the back again. Pull through. You want to make sure your stitches line up so that your stockinette stitch ends on both sides at the same place and your yarn overs end in the same place. That way your work doesn't look uneven by the time you finish. So you're basically looping this around all the way to the end. We've finished our seam all the way across, as you can see here. And this is the last loop through. And here's my needle. And I'm going to do what I did when I started. I'm just going to twist this a few times, slip the needle through, pull it snugly, and then trim. I'll leave a few inches to weave in. This is when you're going to be using your crochet hook, because I have 2 threads left over. One of these is my cast on thread, and the rest is left from the bind off and the seam. So you're going to just work along this edge, just one yarn, or one of the strings of yarn at a time. And you're just going to work your way through some of the stitches, pulling the pieces of the yarn through and just weaving them in. And going through a stitch with a crochet hook, grabbing the yarn, just pulling it through. And you're going to work your way until you've blended both strings that are left of the yarn, and then turn it inside out. And your cowl is complete. If you've enjoyed this series, please check me out on my YouTube channel, KatrinasCreations. I have a weekly podcast that goes up on Saturdays, and come join our knitting group. Thank you once again for doing this knitting series with us, and I hope you found it helpful.